with like the idea of altered perceptions and like an individual's creative genius and like how that leads to like such wealth and personal gain, but also such isolation. Because I think it's just like, I don't know, myopic to be like LSD.
So maybe her process of experimentation, she hasn't reached a full resolution yet of all of her concepts and ideas.
Yeah.
You're not sat. So number 2, would you guys say that all as a group you don't feel that she's fully reached this?
I think she has sensitivity to materials. It's the bleeding that like epitomizes that. But I think it's not so much like the process of the art, aside from that whole value change, as like the explanation of the art. And like the thought process.
Well, like I agree with Rachel on that, and like I think that mostly it's just that she conveys the concept that she's trying to do pretty well, but like Rachel can say, like it can have like larger implications than just that specific concept. And I think if she broadens her concept a little bit, then the piece will be a lot better.
So I think like obviously there's so much personal relevance. Like the story of her grandfather is so interesting, but knowing Alex personally and how like obviously she's really invested in art, but it's not exactly something that like always makes you friends, you know? I think that if she brought that in, then it would be a lot richer.
How do you feel? Okay, we weren't able to see her written work, but the reflection and development of the success of the pieces. But JD, what do you think about that?
I think like just what she was saying. I don't know. I think she really did reflect a lot on, I don't know, like how she was going to relate the piece back to her theme. I think definitely just like with the dripping effect and stuff, like her piece really does convey a higher theme well. And so I think she did definitely reflect well on that.
Or how like determined she is to make the 2 pieces mirror images.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have liked to have heard maybe a little bit more about the development? Like, what are some of the things that she tried that just didn't work out? Because she only mentioned one thing. She mentioned that she made things darker originally, and then she changed that.
Yeah.
I would have been kind of interested in hearing.
Like the challenges and what she found that worked. Yeah, like how the bleeding thing. How was she like, it'd be a great idea, add tons of water to my paint.
Yeah,
like,
but how did you get there?
interesting
How did you get there? And I think that's definitely something that we want to hear.
Yeah,
a little bit more of.
I agree with that.
This is good.
They won't be as good as we are.
You won't take these steps.
We were talking about how, first of all, we talked about how just the first one, because the second one you can really answer.
Yeah.
See?
The first one you can answer.
No, the second.
The second one.
The artist, like, we talked about ideas and like how, like her thought process.
Well, the thing is that she said that she worked out this sketchbook and stuff. So you have just like, then she ended up talking about the history, which is not done yet, because she said that she would kind of work on it again because it's not like the same exactly and stuff. So
This is good. It's really good.
I get that she's like having plans and she's gonna write about it, but we don't have marks of like what happens. Like we can't even tell if that's her work.
That's true. And also, I mean, I think this one, they were talking about this at the other table about exploring the ideas. She never really mentioned what else did she do.
And we don't,
No,
we
like,
don't know like where she got that from. Like we know that it's her grandpa and stuff.
How did the idea?
Why her grandpa? Why not her grandpa?
Yeah.
Because her grandpa has something too. Like
That's a great question. Why just grandpa?
since she said she never saw it.
I mean, it is very interesting. Like, it's a good topic.
What are you writing here? Your thoughts?
Oh, I just kind of like read some stuff. It's original. Yeah, I thought it was really original, and I thought it developed like just the way her topic developed. Because before, what was the one she did last time?
She did the band member.
Yeah.
And it's the same style too, but in oil pastel, and the same thing with LSD, how it took over his life.
Yeah. Well,
So she's really exploring this LSD theme, and she did Grandpa, she did a rocker,
But
and
I mean,
they do seem original.
how does that go into I don't get the real connection.
Distortion of
It's
perception.
how, but where's the connection?
I mean, she said a bunch of things that didn't really seem to connect that much. Like how she said she did the paint to represent destruction, but she didn't explain like how does
Melting of the
that.
world.
And I mean,
But like how does that? She didn't explain it. Like she didn't explain how the thing represents.
So you would have liked to have heard a little bit more explanation. Yeah. Okay. What were you gonna say?
Like,
Sorry.
I'm kind of shocked that she's just like going like my grandpa did that. Like he totally left my grandma, like tried to get her into drugs. So I don't talk to him at the end. Like we just go on and that's how I
You want more personal travel. You're also very personal. You're also very
I know.
feel and I
I
want
think
the
that's
story.
what you need for this kind of mindset.
Yeah, I
Isn't
think
it what an artist is all about? Just like putting down their feelings into paintings and because I think like trying to I think is missing like most of the museum mostly things is the title, the year, the name.
Yeah.
But
You want to hear
don't
them.
get the history behind it. Don't laugh.
No, because I feel like I know you so well that I can understand exactly why you come there.
So yeah.
I don't know if everyone would want that.
I think it makes it like important because obviously, like in order to make something like successful as a piece of art, it has to have intention. And she talked about why she did it and what she was trying to create. But I think she just needs to bring that into like one holistic.
I'm also
statement.
wondering if like the fact that
More intent.
the paint is kind of melting does it represent tears somehow? Because I had that the other day. I was crying and my mascara tool like went down, and you can like it's the same like
It is kind of the same.
patterns. Yeah. Like I really like the picture. Like you can, but yeah.
It's good. I'm really proud of you guys. This is really good.
And I also have another thing to say.
I'm not leaving.
I think on the painting that she's doing, when it's reversed, the one that is under the happy one should be warmer because that's still like the colors are really. Colors are cool. Yeah, it's like really blue, purple, and I think it should more go on a red thing, and then like the medium part when things are supposed to go together should be where you actually get those colors that go into the really like dark side.
So do you agree with them compositionally that the faces should move out or not? Because they were talking about separating them. I mean,
I think it should more go like as a treat, like get really like reddish under and then go orange and yellow and then go into green. And then green blue is like the moment when it changes and then it goes into some like blue, dark purple.
I like it.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Because you see more the connection between
That
the
would
bad
show a
and the good.
transition. Yeah.
It would.
It's like right now you're just like
It's great.
She could relate it to her theme too, about how it's like, you know, just talked about like the melting from or like the transition to like the cool part of LSU. It's like, oh, trippy, and like the part like destroys lives. So if she had like that transition, it could mean like that it's like a gradual thing. You know? It's not like, oh, LSU's so cool, now LSU. It's like,
I don't think that's what she's trying to be saying. Like, it's more like my grandpa is just somehow the guy.
so what did she mean? I'm kind of confused what she meant between like the trippy part and like the really dark part. Was she trying to say that it like destroys lives?
Yeah, I think that the intention was to be fun and to enjoy life, but then it.
Like I don't see the intention with like to do like a good and bad side. Like she didn't really explain that.
So these are questions you have for her.
Yeah.
Do we feel like we're ready to
move on to the next person.
know to present to her?
I think we already told her.
Yeah? Do you want to just group? Want to throw it
We
in?
don't have like much. Like we'll probably need. So we want
Okay.
to-
Do you want to finish up over here?
Alex doesn't.
Can we
know
hear
it,
it?
It's okay. We already told her.
Here. You guys want to go?
Tell
We
me
move
what's
there?
Hannah
Talk to her.
Stay here.
You can stay here. Yeah.
I'll come.
You're supposed to be talking about progress too.
Yeah.
And there's
While you go.
Come on over, Alex.
So we talked at first, we couldn't really answer the second one because you didn't really have your workbook, but we talked about the first part, how you explored ideas and led to a successful outcome, and mostly it mostly just related to the first part. Like the first part mostly just answers that. We we thought that it was really original and really interesting. But one thing we thought was that you could probably tie it in a little bit more, like everything that you said. And I don't really remember what were you guys saying that wasn't tied in? Just to like your theme. They had some
It's
answers.
like
They wanted more
one
of
of
a
the things
story.
like I get it's your grandpa and stuff, so there's a connection. But since you said you never really met him, like why him? Why him, not your grandma? Who I think you know. I don't know the story, but like.
Yeah, well, I guess like when I talked to the examiner, I'll obviously add in like more backstory because you said keep it short. So I mean, I can tell you why.
I mean,
What was my
It's
question
okay.
was why just grandpa? Like why not grandma?
Well, I guess since he has more of a direct like connection with it, and like she was more of like a bystander or whatnot. But I think it could also be interesting to have like ones of her too, and more of the like
I think that'd be interesting.
yeah, and like how it affected her. But I guess just to start off with like destruction, it seemed like most obvious to me to use him.
Did you have any? Like, one question I had was, what did you use? Who are some of the artists that you use? Like, because we were talking about over here as the art history and theories. We wanted to hear a little bit about that. Like, who inspired you? Who influenced this?
Malcolm Farley inspired me a lot as far as painting. He has like really bright, colorful paintings.
Oh, you
doesn't-
mentioned this in your last piece.
Yeah, he doesn't really use a lot of like common tools like paintbrushes. He uses more like knives and like those like plaster things. So he uses kind of whatever he has around, which gives like a really cool texture and technique to his paintings.
Okay.
So
But is he alive?
yeah, we met
Okay.
him in Minnesota.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so he has a lot of, there's another guy, I forgot his name, but he also does a lot of like bright work too. And so both of them, but they're in my, if I had my work, I should have brought it today.
That's fine. No, it's totally fine. Were there any, one thing we did talk about earlier too was, what were some of the things that you explored and then you were like, okay, you know what, that melting paint thing, I don't think it just came up out of there. Like, how did you get there? How did you discover that?
Well, for that painting, I knew I wanted to somehow, originally I was just going to do like dark kind of blotches that overlapped and like maybe overlapped his face a little bit. But then I was like, okay, that could either look really good or really bad. And it got to the point where I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. So then I started, I was trying to figure out how to make like kind of like a flowy background. So I just started adding more and more water, and then I was like, oh, we can drip. And so then I just started adding drips, and it looked really cool, so then I just kind of went with that. In the second one, there was more like exploration as far as, originally I was going to do them both on one canvas, but then I was like, oh, it would look cooler if it was on two separate canvases, and so then it kind of like separates the ideas, but then when you put them together through the dripping, like when I move both paint colors onto the canvases, it'll look more unified, and so it'll be two pieces in one.
Do you want to share what you said about
the colors.
this? Yeah, the colors.
Yeah.
This was great.
So I think that the one who's like, I will say it in English, you'll get me.
You got it.
The warm one, supposed to be warm. The colors are like actually not that warm. I think the blue-white thing is like really cold, like when you see it. And then I think you can't really like, you can tell that there's a difference between the one who's like the upper one and the one who's below. But
You wanted to.
not really. So then I thought maybe you could do, since I think you want to make them connect somehow, start more with like a kind of like, oh, I hate English. You kind of want to start like more like with something like red, it goes into orange and yellow, and then when it's supposed to like connect, do like some yellow, greenish thing, and then go into like dark green, blue, purple.
Yeah.
So you can really tell there's difference between, because like
What I was going to do is have like the colors twist around each other, so it's like kind of like a rope. So like one, you get what I'm saying? You know how ropes like intertwine?
Yeah.
So I was going to kind of do that with the middle section. I just haven't gotten there yet. So
Yeah, sure. I'm just
yeah, definitely like I started adding in like the brighter pinks in there,
Yeah.
and I've added more of that obviously, and I want to add in like oranges. I just didn't have some of the colors neon-y, so I had to go get those. But
Frankly, I think I like the composition of having the two heads blended together. I know they wanted some separation. I don't think you should. But I do think you should do the dripping maybe in opposite directions. It'd be interesting. So like the colors mesh together, but the drips go away from each other. And I think that would kind of show the struggle. Like I think your grandfather was really, his intention was to enjoy life, but I think it kind of backfired on
so do
him.
you mean the colorful ones go down instead of up?
Yes. I think that would be really interesting, but that's just me.
Isn't that what you were saying originally?
No, what I want is so like if the two pictures are together,
Oh, so they leave it up to
the
combine.
drips will go up like that. So it'll like show.
I was thinking
I think that's a good idea. Maybe you can
They
have
go
them like
away
going
from
more
each other.
That's what I was
like
thinking too.
have some of the other one going that it's like the bad part influence the good one and the good one influence the bad one somehow.
Yeah.
So the direction goes with the theme. But I love. I mean, I'm really proud of her. Shoot, we get to pick the next person.